Welcome to Breaking News to Trading Moves. Today we're looking at a court decision involving GoDaddy, a name most people know. It's certainly put some software companies on, let's say, high alert.
That's right. There's a big jury award involved. $170 million against GoDaddy.
And our goal here is pretty clear. We want to map out the immediate consequences, identify which companies might gain from this and which ones, well, face some pressure because of it.
Based on the ruling itself and the companies involved.
So the headline event. GoDaddy gets hit with a $170 million patent verdict. Seems simple enough on the surface.
It does. But that dollar amount, while large, isn't the whole story. The key is why. A federal jury in Delaware found GoDaddy's website design tools infringed on 2 patents. These belong to a company called Express Mobile.
Okay, Express Mobile, and there's some important context here, right? This isn't their first rodeo.
Not at all. And this is crucial for you to understand. Express Mobile, they actually won a verdict against Shopify, that's SHOP, back in 2022. It was around $40 million then.
But that one got overturned.
It did, yes, later overturned an appeal. But this new verdict against GoDaddy, GDDY, for a much larger amount, $170 million. Well, it kind of re-energizes their position, you could say.
That shows they're persistent.
Exactly. Persistent, willing to litigate repeatedly. And that history really frames the uncertainty now. Will this $170 million judgment stick? GoDaddy, naturally, says they'll fight it. Appeal. Everything.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's start mapping things out. Who are the potential winners here? Which companies might actually benefit from this ruling?
All right, first group, patent licensing and IP monetization companies.
That's why now.
Well, it's pretty straightforward, commercially speaking.
Yeah.
A big, high-profile verdict like this. It strengthens the negotiating position for anyone holding foundational software patents.
Yeah, so.
It suggests that even common, easy-to-use tools like the drag-and-drop website builders GoDaddy offers can be valuable, protectable IP assets. So if you own similar patents, this ruling helps argue their value. It boosts perceived portfolio value, gives you more leverage in licensing talks.
Ah, okay. So firms that primarily license out tech, their assets just became potentially more valuable. We're talking companies like InterDigital, IDCC.
Yes, InterDigital is one, and Rambus, RMBS, is another. Their whole business model gets a bit of validation when patent enforcement like this succeeds.
Got it. So that's category 1. What's the next group of potential winners?
This one is more about the ecosystem around legal battles. Think IP analytics and legal research platforms.
The tools lawyers use.
Exactly. The gain here is driven by, well, increased caution, maybe even a bit of fear in the industry. When a 9-figure verdict hits a major player like GoDaddy,
every other company with similar tools gets nervous.
Precisely. General counsels everywhere are asking, hey, do we use something similar? What's our exposure? That immediately drives up demand for specialized legal tools.
Tools for what specifically?
Things like prior art searches, patent analytics, docket tracking, legal research platforms. The whole suite used by in-house legal teams and the outside law firms they hire.
Right, because they need to quickly figure out if they have a potential problem based on this GoDaddy ruling. It's like a warning shot.
It is. And that increased need for legal auditing, that caution, it translates directly into more business for the companies providing these tools.
So who are we talking about here?
The names that come up are Clarivate, CLVT, and Thomson Reuters, TRI. They provide that essential toolkit for the kind of rapid legal assessment that's likely happening right now across the tech sector because of this verdict.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's get to the most direct market implication. The actual competitors. Website builders going head-to-head with GoDaddy.
Yes, this is where one company's problem can be another's opportunity.
How does that play out?
It's about competitive advantage stemming from operational pressure on GoDaddy. Think about it.
Yeah.
If GoDaddy now has to spend significant engineering time and money redesigning its tools to get around these patents.
Or if they raise prices to cover legal costs or potential damages.
Right. Or even if management just gets distracted by a lengthy appeal process, any of that creates an opening for rivals.
An opening to grab market share.
Exactly. Especially among small businesses looking for easy website tools. If GoDaddy's offering becomes more complex, more expensive, or just seems legally risky, competitors are positioned to attract those customers.
It's not just about GoDaddy potentially slowing down, is it? It could be about features. If GoDaddy has to pull back or change its drag-and-drop interface.
A competitor might suddenly look better, functionally, or at least less legally complicated. Any platform relying heavily on those kinds of drag-and-drop features might come under scrutiny.
So competitors with maybe a different approach or just not currently in the legal spotlight could benefit.
That's the idea. We're looking at companies like Squarespace, SQSP, though we'll come back to them, and Wix.com, WIX. If GoDaddy stumbles operationally or legally in the near term, these two are definitely positioned to potentially gain.
Okay, so we've covered the potential gainers. Now we need to flip the coin. Let's focus on the companies facing pressure, the potential negative outcomes from this verdict. Who are the losers?
Well, the most obvious is Category 1, GoDaddy itself, GDDY, and potentially other domain registrars or hosting companies that offer similar DIY website building tools.
And the pressure comes from multiple angles, I assume.
It does. First, there's the sheer financial weight of the $170 million judgment itself. That's a big number. Then, the potential cost of re-engineering their tools if the verdict stands. That's expensive.
And you mentioned something earlier, injunctive relief.
Yes, that's a crucial point. Injunctive relief means the court could actually order GoDaddy to stop using the infringing tools immediately.
Wow, okay. Not just pay a fine, but actually halt parts of their product offering.
Exactly. That would be incredibly disruptive. Customer confusion, operational headaches, a major problem. And this kind of pressure might also extend to similar companies like Tucows, TCX, which also operates in the domain and hosting space and might use comparable design tools.
Okay, that's the direct impact. What's the next category feeling the heat?
Next up, the SMB e-commerce platforms, particularly those that Express Mobile has targeted before.
Like Shopify, even though they won their appeal.
Yes, even though Shopify, SHOP, got that earlier $40 million verdict overturned. This new, much larger win for Express Mobile against GoDaddy, it kind of brings back those old concerns for investors.
How so?
It validates Express Mobile's patents again in front of a jury right now. So it forces investors and analysts to look again at Shopify and other platforms, scrutinizing potential overlaps in features, worrying about legacy patent claims. Just introduces a layer of caution.
So besides Shopify, who else falls into this?
BigCommerce, BIGC, is another one often mentioned in this context. Any platform offering comprehensive e-commerce tools for small businesses might face renewed questions about their own patent risk profile now.
It's a reminder that a win for a patent holder can create unease across the whole sector, even for companies not directly involved in this specific case.
That's a good way to put it. It raises the perceived legal threat level for competitors with similar functions.
Which leads us nicely into the final category of companies under pressure. CMS platforms, content management systems, and marketing suites that have site builders built in.
Right. This is where the potential concern broadens out from just core website hosts or e-commerce platforms.
What's the specific worry here?
The worry is that patent enforcement could expand beyond GoDaddy. If Express Mobile, or others emboldened by this verdict, start looking at any platform that embeds drag-and-drop web design tools into, say, a marketing platform or a content system.
Then those platforms could face higher compliance costs or engineering challenges.
Exactly. It could raise the cost and complexity of offering those integrated features, which are often a key selling point.
We're talking about platforms like HubSpot, HUBS, right? Their users rely on integrated tools for building landing pages, email templates, all sorts of things.
Precisely. Any company whose value proposition includes making web design easy for non-technical users could potentially find themselves looking over their shoulder.
And this brings us back to a name you mentioned earlier in the winners column, Squarespace, SQSP. They're listed here as being under pressure too. How does that work?
Yeah, that really highlights the complex dynamics here. It's the core tension, really.
Explain that.
Okay, so Squarespace is definitely positioned to gain if GoDaddy stumbles competitively. That's the winner aspect. A rival facing legal trouble can be good news for market share. But Squarespace's own platform is heavily reliant on those smooth, integrated, user-friendly site-building features. That's their bread and butter. So because their tools are so central to their offering, they simultaneously face a higher potential compliance risk themselves.
Ah, I see. So if patent holders start going after anyone with integrated site builders, Squarespace is a very visible target.
Exactly. They benefit from GoDaddy's immediate pain, but their own product design might increase their long-term exposure if this type of litigation becomes more widespread.
It's a tricky position. Short-term gain versus potential long-term risk.
That sums it up well. And the bigger picture takeaway from this whole GoDaddy situation is really about that tension.
The tension between
the value of intellectual property and the operational risk for tech platforms. This verdict boosts the perceived value of foundational software IP, good for patent licensors like InterDigital.
But at the same time,
it increases the legal and operational risk for any company that builds its products using common, user-friendly software functionalities, like website builders. IP value perception goes up, platform operating risk potentially goes up too.
An inverse relationship playing out in the market.
That's the dynamic this verdict spotlights.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. We know the previous Shopify verdict against Express Mobile was overturned on appeal. So how much of this $170 million GoDaddy judgment is really baked into current valuations right now?
And perhaps more importantly, what might the market reaction look like if GoDaddy also manages to successfully appeal and overturn this verdict down the road? Something to think about.
This is not financial advice or buy or sell recommendations. This is purely the opinion of the author.